I'm Euge Valovirta, back from the tour. I was pretty much a month away, and I did a video, published it probably a week ago, about my new live rig, which is a neural quad cortex. Fantastic stuff. I have two, one here on my studio, which was and is the backup for the main one, which is here on the floor, where I have a mission expression pedal to control the wah and whammy, and I'm gonna go through now my presets using this CORTEX control application. So the quad cortex here on my board is connected to the computer via USB cable. This is pretty cool. So I have basically four main sounds and then four stump boxes like this. So this is the basic sound. This is the lead sound. And this is kind of the crunchy sound. And clean. Okay, and then I have these, four stump boxes that I can, kick in or out, like let's say this basic sound. It's the tube screamer, and I can, press this button, so then it's not the tube screamer. So. Or I can add delay. To the basic sound. And this crunch has a little bit delay. I can take it off. Like that. Okay, let's go through what I have here. So the first thing is a transpose knob, which I'm not using. I'm using it on this second, slot, B slot. We're gonna get into that later. Then it's the wah. I have the mission control pedal, and when the wah is down, it's off. Kind of like I'm so used to, pressing the switch to kick it off, and then when I put it up, and the wah is crying Clyde wah. I have that Clyde. I have actually Clyde Deluxe wah here in my studio. Real wah. This is like that. Then I have tube screamer set up like this. A little bit overdrive, tone around 1 o'clock, and the level almost maxed. Like how I set up my real tube screamer. It's a clone of 808. Basically just like that. And a little bit of noise gate. It's just basically to reduce some hiss. So that's everything it does. And I have it, set up like this because this is a what is this hybrid thing? So on the lead sound I have it barely on. And then there's chorus, which is not on this one. It's the Boss CE2 Wazacraft chorus. Then the main amp is the PV5150. It's pretty much set up like my block letter. I have a little bit less gain and a little bit more presence on the, well, whatever settings I have now, because I don't have any setup settings, just whatever I want and need. But pretty much set the same, it is really close to the block letter. And when I switch to lead channel, the only thing that happens is presence is 0.2, down, and the output is 0.3 dB up. It's just a tiny bit louder. And then what happens with the overdrive is that there's a little bit more overdrive, a little bit less top end on that, and a little bit more level on the lead sound. It doesn't really change the sound, it kind of compresses more, because these amps, these behave like real gear. So I'm just hitting the amp a bit harder with the overdrive, so there's a nice compression going on. Then the second amp, it's the same amp, but it's just the rhythm channel. It's this kind of crunchy sound with a little bit delay. This I use in the beginning of Ashlight or the verses. CYHRA's Ashlight song, and then when the chorus kicks in. Like that, and the guitar is DSP M1 custom shop from 1987 with a single EMG 81. Cool. And the cabinet, that's the same on every amp. I think it's really important to have the same, you know, cabinet. It's easier for the front of house guy, your live mixer, that it's kind of in the same ballpark, so you don't have to do any like, oh fuck, what is that sound? So it's you have a unity with your sounds, so to say. And I have this real cabinet here in another room, Marshall 4x12, you know, vintage with the Marshall branded V30s. And I have these both mics I use a lot, and I pretty much said this like, I set my real cabinet and it sounds like, well, pretty much identical, which is awesome. Yeah, this is my favorite cabinet for pretty much everything. Except with Plexi, I prefer a greenback cabinet, which I'll do. And this Quad Cortex has a few really good sounding greenback cabinets, just like my cabinet, my real cabinet. That's the cabinet. The miking, you know, the level on the 421 is a lot lower. It's just to add a little bit, you know, body and depth. That's that nice thing in there, you know, 9 dB lower. And this is pretty much set to the, you know, kind of the little bit further edge of the dust cap, you know, around there somewhere, where it just, you know, sounds good. Then I have a little bit post EQ. So I'm basically just taking out some of the evil 500 and kind of that 250 and that harsh 4K, and adding a little bit 8 and 16K for air, and that little bit 1K kind of that big attacky thing. Check it out when I bypass the EQ, it doesn't do much. Just kind of cleans up the sound a little bit, so that the front of house guy doesn't need to do much. I actually tweaked this on tour, what we did with CYHRA just recently, opening up for Evergrey, and I tweaked these with our front of house guy, and you know, he was like, yeah, cool, that's great, I don't pretty much need to do anything, he said. Because previously I didn't have any delays or anything, so he was controlling my delays also. He's still controlling the solo level, because we use in-ears. I don't want the lead sound to be insanely loud. It's just like 0.3 dB louder, just for me, but he does still the mixing. But now I have the delays, so he don't have to do that. Then there's chorus, which is not this preset, and then the compressor, which is not on this one, and then a circular delay. This is great. I have a Lexicon PCM70 here with a circular delay. This nails it. I just added a little bit low pass and high pass, because the original was a tiny bit darker. Yes, I know there is this vintage mode. I actually prefer the vintage mode off, trails on, so when I switch the sound to rhythm sound, the delay trails continue, so it doesn't cut it like a, you know. And this one did a trick to me. This is like, it's insane. I'm really happy they did that, because that PCM70 circular delay is legendary delay. I've used it on so many mixes. You know, Steve Lukather, all those cats. So it kind of does this left, right, center, and then they kind of mold in together, and there's a little bit of modulation, and just awesome delay. Cool. And then let's go to the clean sound. So this is a little bit more going on. So first is the amp. That's a CA Jones 2C. This is a Mesa Boogie, John Petrucci, the clean channel. But I have pretty much gain, so it kind of, it breaks up a little bit. And then when I switch to, well, I don't have a neck pickup on this one, but let me show you. With the pinky, then it's really clean. Like that. I'm gonna switch back to the kimono, because that was a bit out of tune. Okay, so Boogie Petrucci, same cabinet, same EQ thing on all, just to clean it up a little bit, nothing major. Chorus is on, and I have a, you know, in front, chorus, and then I have a after chorus, like how I would use in a mix. So this is a DC Dimension She chorus, you know, the legendary rack mounted. And it's my go-to setting, modes 2 and 4 same time, and this is the bucket brigade setting, mix 50%. So pretty much what I do when I mix stuff, so I add it afterwards. I have a chorus in front, like normally. I like chorus pedal in front. Some people prefer it in the loop, I don't. It sounds just a bit different. So if I bypass that, it's just that nice. And then this chorus, if I bypass that, bypass both. I don't really use this sound much. On the tour we just did, I didn't use it at all, because I basically used this on a couple of songs, like the C section or the kind of bridge, whatever, middle section of CYHRA's Dreams Gone Wrong. And then closer verses. There's a little bit of that circular delay. And then there is, after that is opto compressor. It's after, you know, like I would use in a mix, because I don't like to play with a compressor. Like compressor in front. I feel it kind of, I don't like the feel. I like to feel the amp. I like that, you know, my playing reacts with the amp. And even though these are digital, but these are so well done, and it's like playing with the real amp. So I want to feel that. I don't want to be compressor in the way. But I like compressor on clean sounds, which I pretty much always use when I mix stuff. So I added an opto compressor. I think this is kind of like LA2A, at least it feels and sounds similar to me, because that's kind of my go-to compressor for clean guitars, you know, Telectronics LA2A, or then the SSL channel strips compressor. But this is kind of like, you know, it's parallel, so it's not full on, what I many times do, because I want the transients kind of, that it's not, you know, lining it up like completely. So there is, these transients come through, but then it's, like you see, it compresses a little bit. It basically adds sustain, but it doesn't change the feel to me. And I like that it's a little bit overdriven, kind of this, especially in the live situation and in the context of a full mix. I feel you can't really hear that there's a little bit, you know, saturation going on in the full mix, but it just makes stuff cut through better. And if I roll down the volume, it's completely clean. So when I play, I use a lot of the volume to control the feel and the sound. Great tool. And the circular delay. So let's go back to the gig view. So here is the, like I said, the 4 basic sounds and then 4 stump boxes. And then I have this poly octaver, which I don't use with CYHRA, but with Suburban Tribe on a couple of songs. So and this, and I use it with Suburban Tribe on some leads. Which is pretty cool. So that's it. The B-bank, it's exactly the same, but I'm using a transposer to, you know, pitch it down 1/2 step. Now this sounds really weird now because I'm hearing the guitar, but with in-ears you don't hear the guitar. So we have a couple of songs with CYHRA that are in A minor key, like Hard Rage, and I could play that with, you know, this tuning, which is standard C/drop, but it's easier to play when I drop this, because then I can take advantage of the open strings, like on the, you know, first melody riff. And the verse, you know, if this would be in the previous tuning, because it's A, I will need to play it on a different place, but now I can utilize the open E string, which is now in A. Now it's in B flat. Now it's A. So this is just depending, you know, because if you can make things easier, why make them harder? And then I have one which drops the whole thing one whole step. We have a few new CYHRA songs which are unreleased yet that use this tuning, and I use the 7-string in the studio, but here I can, you know, do it. And then my first bank is a whammy. So now the Mission expression pedal acts like a whammy. I have one song with CYHRA where there's kind of this kind of section. Where I use the whammy. One song, and if we don't play that song, then I don't use this bank. So those are the light presets. I have a couple of others. These are just cabs. If I'm using real amps and if I'm using the Fried Power Station as a reactive load. I have the vintage cab and the greenback cabinet here, which I like my real cabs there. So if I want to use these, I'll use these because these are exactly like those cabinets. There's a graphic Euge which is not on, and you know, I can have a delay. And then here's my basic bass preset. This is actually a preset from the you know, stock preset, just like it. When I'm recording bass, I've been monitoring using this one. So whatever there is, yeah, bass one. This is really cool. So yeah, bass preset. Let's go back to the main one. Just once more. So 4 basic sounds. The basic sound? Well, 4 presets. The basic sound, which is a PV5150 boosted with 2 Screamer 808. After that, a little bit gate to get rid of the hiss. Marshall 9060p vintage cabinet. Tiny bit of post EQ. That's it, the basic sound. Cool, and then the lead sound, which is pretty much the same. It's a little bit more drive and level from the Tube Screamer and the circular delay. Then the crunchy sound. That I use on Bye Bye Forever as verse 2. And the clean, which I use on only a couple of songs, you know, with CYHRA or with Suburban Tribe. So this is, both of these work with any band or gig I do. how I set this up, I could actually film you a little bit so you can see. Let me take the guitar off. I'm gonna use my phone. So here it is. So this is the USB cable just to the computer. Here's the mission, and here's this kind of. So I've done this because, you know, live situation, you don't want your cables to crack or you know. So this kind of takes care of this. Right out, left out, guitar in. It's normally this one, because this one comes from the wireless, which is on side of the stage in our rack, and then these outputs, they go back to the rack, and from there to our in-ears, the full band mix, and via Dante cable to the front of house. And how I'm powering this, there's the power thing here, and it's this is a Geox DC7, and you need to do this kind of by these, whatever these are called, to power the quad cortex. So really simple, really easy and fast to set up and, you know, take out. This is with and these are like with a 3M tape and like this, and then there's just a couple of these plastic things so that the wah or expression pedal really holds in there, and here's the cable for the expression pedal. Really easy and simple setup. Sounds good, feels good. Hey, thanks for watching. Hopefully you found this interesting and informative. Until next time, take care. Bye.